the Weekly Buzz, everybody. We are excited to have you joining us here on the Defiance College campus. I've got a couple different guest formats this week. We've got Brian Swineheart and we've got Professor Lisa Crumit Hancock. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Happy to be here.
All right. So I'm going to start with you, Brian. I kind of lassoed you into this last minute.
Yeah.
You are new to Defiance College. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Brian.
Well, I'm my first semester here at Defiance College, but I actually started college back in 1999, and I went for like a semester or so when I got out of high school, and then.
So this is a reboot, kind of
reboot.
College 2.0.
Yep, I left Ohio in the year 2000, and I was in California for 20 years.
And what were you doing in California?
I was an actor and a stand-up comedian, and wrote some scripts and produced a few short films as well.
And you were even in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, Fast and Furious 7, The Lincoln Lawyer was another movie, and About Last Night with Kevin Hart. I was played Kevin's coworker, and so I did that. I was in some commercials and stuff like that, and then 2020 came along, and everything got shut down, and I moved back to Ohio, and then I went to Edison College and got a 2-year degree, and now I'm here to finish up my my next 2-year my 4-year degree now.
But you're not here just to be in the classroom. Like
No.
you got something else that
I got another
that
goal
you're
too.
doing.
Yeah, I'm on the wrestling team.
At 45 years old, people. 45 years old.
45-year-old college wrestler. It's a little crazy.
You are a brave man. I would want no part of being in the ring with these guys that are half my age and twice as strong as me.
I wonder sometimes, man. They get on my legs before I have time to move. But, when I was 19, I told my dad I was going to wrestle in college, and he passed away shortly thereafter, and I never did it. Like I said, I went to California, had an opportunity there, and it was always weighing heavy on me that I hadn't done it. And then, I heard that Defiance was starting up the wrestling team, and I wanted to do it. And I've been real lucky here to have great coaches and students and other wrestlers to help me do this. And, it means a lot to me to be able to do it. You don't always get second chances in life, but if you do, it's best to make it worth it and do it. And so, I'm really blessed to be able to do this and to get this opportunity, and I'm enjoying the classes, and I'm learning a lot, and it's changed a lot. It's interesting, the topic that we're going to take on today, with AI and stuff, because it's new to me.
It's a little different when you went to school the first time back in the 90s, right?
Yeah. So
AI, what's that?
Yeah. Never thought. I didn't have a cell phone back then. There was
Right.
pagers. That was the new thing. That was a big thing at the time. So it's interesting to me to see how the classrooms have changed so much since back then. And I think there's pros and cons of both. I think that for me, I remember being back then, I feel like you had to pay attention a little. There was no distractions.
You didn't have your phone that you could be on?
There was no phones. There was no internet. You had a notebook and a pen, and that was it. And you had to jot down the information from the teacher. And something that I noticed now that the kids are able to do that. It took me a couple weeks to catch on to this was. You could take a picture of what's on the board with your phone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the first couple weeks of class, I was sitting there furiously jotting down notes, and then I watched the kids just walk up, picture. I'm like, oh, okay.
That makes more sense. We have this digitally connected world that, it is so much. The technology has advanced so much.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm with you. I remember, in college, we didn't have cell phones certainly, and I can vividly remember when they first connected us to the internet, and it was so unique that now I can go
school. And totally
different.
Changed everything.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I've been teaching since 1994, and I cannot believe how much the technology has changed and grown. And there was a big concern when I first taught back in 1994 how the computer itself, just using a computer, was going to change how you wrote. And now you have all these other ancillary digital things and technologies that are part of the writing process as well. So,
I think it's for students learning to embrace it. And what we're going to talk about today is AI. And how do we start to maybe think about that a little differently? How do we embrace it to maybe enhance our learning experience? I think we've evolved. At first it was no never with AI, like don't ever use, any AI bots. And now it's like, all right, so how do we use this in a responsible way that is not going to get us in trouble with the academic dean, because nobody wants to do that. And also it's going to enhance your learning process, because that's what this is all about. We're in college and we're here to learn and to kind of further our knowledge. So maybe there's some ways that we can talk about of how to use those tools, just like all the way technology's evolved, to really make us better, smarter consumers of knowledge.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that brings us to you, Lisa. You've been on the show before. Lisa Crumit from the Registrar's office. You've been, like I said, teaching for a long time. You said 1994. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
Where did you start teaching at? Was it
Northwest
here?
State Community College. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught there for 17 years.
No
And then
kidding.
for a while taught at both places, here and there.
Yep.
And then took an administrative job here and kind of
Okay.
worked my way up. So.
Okay. Are you ready to get on the wrestling mat like Brian?
No,
No?
no, I am not. No, he is very brave. I would not be able to do that. So yes, yeah.
We'll just keep you in the classroom.
That's right. That's right. For sure.
So let's kind of dive right into this whole concept of AI. What is it? What are we talking about with AI? Do you know much about?
I'm going to be quite honest. I don't know a lot about the technology itself. I do know that it has been around forever. It's
really
not
has
like
been. It
really
was around
something new.
Since like the 50s
Yeah.
almost.
I think because it actually powers a lot of things that we do. But
just evolved over time.
it has, and I think where it's become a concern or a talking point is in the generative AI aspect.
Yep. They used to call it narrow AI,
Yes,
right? Where we do a very specific task.
Right.
And maybe like a spreadsheet. I kind of maybe with an example that I kind of think of is if I got some data and I can tell it, give me a sum of this column, right, or average, and it can perform that statistical function.
Right.
But I've inputted all of the data.
Right, exactly.
Generative is different though.
Yeah, because you're just giving it a short prompt, as detailed or not, as you want it to be, and then it generates a response.
Something,
it creates something completely new.
Images, text, it can write an entire 5-page paper.
Right, exactly.
Please don't do that though. Don't have to write a 5-page paper.
Yeah, no.
You will get in trouble for that.
Most definitely. Because here's the thing too, students, is that while generative AI is really awesome and can do so many things, there's lots of great AI detectors out there too. And so your teachers can run it through an AI detector or two. And yes, if it comes back, it'll give you a percentage, and basically it's obvious that it wasn't your voice, it wasn't your words, it wasn't your ideas, and that's where the problem lies.
And we know people are using this.
Yes.
There was a great study that was done, and I think it's like 85% of college students acknowledge that, I use this.
Yeah. I've used it. I haven't used it in any kind of professional way.
I haven't
but
either.
I've used
I've stayed away from it.
I've used it for fun. Like when everyone was talking about the last few years, I got on ChatGPT and did a couple crazy things like, write me a rap song in the style of Eminem about spring.
And it'll do it.
And it'll do it, exactly.
Right.
So
but we do that in our own personal lives. I don't know if you've got like a Alexa or Siri, and you can tell me a campfire story, and it'll tell you a campfire story.
It will, yeah, which is kind of fun. It's entertaining.
Right.
But when we cross the line and we start using it in academic and professional settings, we've got to be careful. You want to make sure that you're doing it in an ethical way.
It's not the easy button.
No, it's not. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times students are looking for an easy way out of a difficult assignment, and this is not the thing that you should do. Because the truth is that as fun as it is, as interesting of things that it creates and generates, there's a lot of issues with accuracy, and that's problematic.
That is one of the big problems that I've seen is, it will cite things, it will give you information that really just is not
it's
always
fictitious.
accurate.
Exactly.
So if you were going to hypothetically use it, whether to summarize an article or even just to do some research, making sure you go back and like, now I gotta fact check this a little bit.
Right.
Is this information, that I've asked it to give me, is it true or not?
Right, exactly, yeah. So one of the things that I found, as coordinator of FYE, I always teach a few sections of FYE each fall, and we always have every year, part of the FYE experience is a common read. So all sections of first year experience read the same book, and it's generally a memoir because it fits in with our theme of looking at who are you as a developing adult. And so the memoir we used this year was called Class, which is actually Stephanie Land, the author's second memoir. Her first memoir was immensely popular and was made into a Netflix series, very well known. I could tell when students used AI in writing their summative reflection paper on the book, because it was referencing MAID. And what happened was, when I'm looking into this, is that Class was not as popular, there is not enough information for the AI to pull online to be able to write anything intelligent about the new memoir, and so it kept defaulting to
the
her
old
other writing.
memoir.
And so it was like, sorry, this is AI generated, 0. So yeah, I mean, there's issues because the generative AI, while it creates things and is fun to use, as we've already said, it's taking in data and information from the internet all over. But sometimes that information is biased. Sometimes that information is outright inaccurate. And so we've got to be, and sometimes it's incomplete in the case of what I was just talking about. So we've got to be careful in using this because it may be the easy way out, but it's not going to be.
To me, it's troubling. I even see this a lot on social media, and making sure you're being a smart consumer and doing a lot of fact checking. We talked about this when we had a episode last week on the election, and like going to the source. Like I might want to like really see what somebody's saying. If I see something that's quoted in a document or cited, like maybe I need to go back and double check that. Make sure, is this accurate or not?
And all of that falls under the larger category of being information literate. We need to be literate when it comes to the media we're consuming, and we need to be literate in all areas of our life of all of the information we're taking in. And when we're not questioning that, and we're not, going back to the source, as you said, or are really doing any kind of fact checking.
It's scary how close some of them are, though.
Right. Yeah, a lot of the deep fakes, as they call it, stuff like that, like the images and different things look so real. People that know me know I love to hike, and I love going to national parks, and so I'll see a lot of those things that come up on my social media, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is not Blackwater Falls, or oh my gosh, yes, I just experienced that the other day too. There was something on the internet that was referencing the Grand Tetons, and I had just visited there this summer, and I'm like, that is not even Wyoming. I don't know where that is.
There was one picture of Michigan that I saw, and it had mountains, and I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Even if you go to the UP where it gets a little more mountainous.
They get the porcupines up there, but it is not like,
no, not at all.
So we can laugh about it, but I really worry for younger generations are coming. They're exposed to that. Like I've been there. I know what what it looks like. What about people who haven't? And again, like we're talking about like pictures on the internet, but like thinking about like things like academic resources and kind of draw it back into AI and really making sure we're being good critical thinkers and smart consumers. But then also, how do we good learners? How do we use this new technology when maybe I've got 3 papers that are all coming due in the same week? And how do I use that in a way, is there a way to use it responsibly?
Well,